is Coach Ken Purcell. He retired as athletic director several years ago from Denton ISD. He is going to talk to you today, and this is going to be the icing on the cake. I've been telling you about this gentleman ever since the first day you came in here. There is nobody that can be more enthusiastic, more positive, that can explain things about why he got into this business and how you're going to be successful and the things that you've got to do to be successful. And this young man right here, I have the opportunity at least once or twice a year. I meet he and his wife over at the Prairie House, and we have dinner. We do not discuss what you'll be discussing today. We talk about these things in general. It's this day that we get specific. This young man has been nice enough over the years to help me out in several situations. Number one, probably, I don't know, 13, 14 years ago, he hired my daughter as a coach here in Denton. He hired my daughter not because he knew me, because I had not even met him. He hired my daughter because he looks for certain characteristics in individuals that he's going to hire. You need to listen to what he says. You need to understand that sometimes, and Coach and I, this young man over here also is with us today. He's a guy. He's going to do the video, and we discussed. It's not always what kind of grade that you made in Coach Baker's class. It's how you meet and greet people that he's interested in. So that goes a long ways. He's going to tell you how to treat the people who work for you, whether it's the secretaries, whether it's the custodians, whether it's the maintenance people. He's going to talk to you about the time that's necessary, and he's done all these things to get where he is. He's going to talk to you probably about sending out an email that, I forget if it had a misspelled word or the wrong word or whatever, and how he was corrected and how he used that to his advantage. He doesn't matter, Coach, up there. It doesn't matter to him that he's made a mistake. It's the fact that I will not continue to make that mistake. So long story short, this is the icing on the cake. This young man doesn't have to do this. In addition to being retired, his wife is also retired from the teaching profession. He has a ranch in Aubrey, Texas that has 13, 14, 15 acres on it. He's got a tank out there that's the best kept secret in Denton County. That tank is full of catfish that are about this long and have mouths just about this big. Now, I'm joking when I say this, but when Coach passes away, I'm going to the funeral. I'm going to the church. I want to sit on the front row. I want to do whatever that his wife asked me to do. But as soon as the service is over with, I'm not going to the cemetery. I'm getting in my truck and I'm driving directly to his house with a rod and reel. And I'm gonna catch the biggest catfish in there you have ever seen in your life. And I'm gonna hold it up and smile at him. Coach won't let me fish in it now, but I'm gonna eventually catch a fish out of it. We have a great time together. If I want to talk to Coach Purcell, I do not have to worry about calling at 6:30 in the morning. If he wants to talk to me, he doesn't worry. This is what we've been accustomed to. One day I was at Wichita Falls at 6:15. Fixing to visit a teacher, and I needed to ask him a question. And so I called, and he answered the phone. I said, Coach, how long you been home? It was all about 35, 40 minutes. That's what you have to do when you become the boss, and that's what he's done. This young man has helped more people on a daily basis, on a yearly basis. He was responsible for hiring somewhere around 225 to 250 coaches a year. Now, some of those are just renewing the contract, but some of those are brand new people. He hired one of my people, well, he's hired several people out of this class, but one of them really made a good impression, and he listened to everything that you listened to, and he went to work with Coach Purcell as a junior high football coach. About 2 weeks into it, he quit. He said, I can't get there at 6:30 in the morning and work with seventh graders. No, you knew what you were getting into. So when you come into this profession, be like Coach Purcell. This young man standing over here that's doing the video is a football coach at Geyer. It's been there since it opened. Now, don't kid yourself. He probably is a great football coach. I also know something else. He is a math teacher, correct, Coach?
Yes, sir.
He's a math teacher. Don't think that didn't help him to get the job at Geyer, because it probably did. If you can teach math, if you can teach science, if you can teach foreign language, if you can teach special ed, I've got a job for you. But if all you can do is teach history and physical education, we're going to have to hustle to find that job. And again, if you come in this profession, remember, it's not where you teach, it's why you teach. Please welcome my good friend, Ken Purcell.
You know, when Dr. Baker finishes introducing me, I really don't have much to say because he's told you the stories I'm going to tell, the points I'm going to make, and so I'm just kind of the second act as far as what he's doing. I'm here this morning because I want to try to change your life. That's what I do. I try to change lives, and that's what I want you to want to do. Especially if you get in the teaching profession. You need to find out what your passion is. You know, I had an ex-player call me a few weeks ago, and he said, Coach, I think I'm going to leave AT&T. And I said, really? He said, yeah, I've got a great job here. I make $110,000 a year. He said, one of the main reasons I signed on with AT&T is because of the great retirement. Their great retirement program. They got an unbelievable retirement. And he said, Coach, then I remembered the other day something that you taught us in the program, the football program. You said, don't take a job for a pension instead of a passion. You understand? Some people are working for the pension. Pension means retirement. They say, man, I'm going to have a great retirement. So they do something they don't have a passion for their whole life, waiting on that retirement. If you don't do something you love each day of the week, or in your work day, you work 5 and 7, you're working 5 days a week to get 2 free to do something you want to do. You need to do something the other 5 that you enjoy. So you need to find out what your passion really is. I have 2 passions. I love the cowboy life and I love football. I knew that from my high school days. I knew I worked on ranches. I love horses. I love cattle. I have a ranch. I have 2 ranches. I've been very blessed. God has blessed my life. But also, I became a football coach. I was so fortunate. My 5th year coaching, where I was at Plano High School, I was an offensive backfield coach. We won a state title. Texas Stadium, 49,956 fans, still the record, national record for a high school football game, for a single game. Man, I was blessed. But I was more blessed because I got to do my passion, what I wanted to do. My oldest son, Sean, graduated from Texas A&M University cum laude. He was a pre-med student. He graduated cum laude from Texas A&M. He was going to med school. A pharmaceutical company in Dallas offered him a $180,000 job. Oh, he said, Dad, what do you think I'll do? I said, take the job. Get off of my payroll. Take the job. 180 grand? He took it. He was there 6 months, and I got a phone call in my office at the field house. He said, Dad, and I said, hey, boy, what's going on this morning? He said, Dad, I think I'm going to quit the job. I hung up on him. True story. I hung up. 180 grand? You got out of 8 a.m. for 2 months? 6 months? Phone rings. He said, Dad, we got cut off. And I said, no, we didn't. I hung up on him. He said, what's wrong? I said, son, you're making $180,000. That's more than I'm making right now. He said, I know, Dad, but I want to coach football. I said, oh, no. He said, Dad, you told me for the last 24 years to do what my passion tells me. I said, I was wrong. It's 180 grand. Forget the passion stuff. You know what he did? He resigned. And he's been coaching football for 20 years now. But it's his passion. If basketball and coaching is your passion, go coaching. But there's one caveat on that. Basketball will never give you anything back. It'll never give you anything back. The players will give you things back. I had 243 coaches on staff here in Denton when I retired. When I hired coaches, I said, I'm not hiring you to coach basketball or football. I'm hiring you to coach kids. That state championship game I was telling you about in my 5th year in the business, we were on the floor at Texas Stadium. We just beat Port Neches Grove for the 4A. 4A back then was the biggest classification. We just beat them. We were on the Cowboy sideline. I remember walking, the buzzer went off for the scoreboard. It was zeros. We had won the state title, 13-10. And I was walking out toward the middle of the field. We're going to shake hands with their coaches and everyone. And I kind of had an empty feeling. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought, God, we're going to win a state championship. We were the underdog in the 5 playoff games. We were never picked. We were the underdog. Yet here we just won it. But I didn't have that feeling I thought I'd had. And then all of a sudden, someone hit me from the back and knocked me down. And there are players. It turns out it's my quarterback, running back, they're rolling around on top of me and screaming and yelling and crying, and I'm crying. And I said, well, this is what it's all about. You know, we coaches had talked about we get to order the rings and all that if we win. Yeah, rings are jewelry. I got 12 of them, and I'm telling you, they stay in my underwear drawer. If you want to burglarize my house, that's where the rings are, okay? They're in the underwear drawer. They're just stuff. But I have guys call me back from that team and want to talk. Coach, how you doing? Years ago, you know, I've told coaches, it really, find your passion, but love kids, and they will love you back. They will love you back. You can't fool kids. They know, everyone in here had a coach that you know really didn't care that much for you. But you know a coach that loved you like a son or daughter. You can see that. And I promise you that's what happens. A few years, about 20 years ago, I got a phone call. I've said, love kids. Kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Kids don't care how much basketball you know or football you know until they know how much you care about them. You must convince them, and you can't lie to them. I had a phone call. It was 1997, a long time ago. And my wife took the phone call. We were out at the ranch. It was December 20th, starting the Christmas holidays. School was out for the Christmas holidays. And she said, honey, it's for you. I said, who is it? You know, I'm thinking, oh man, we got a problem with the school or something. I picked up the phone and this voice said, Coach Purcell, you know who this is? Great. Yeah, I coached thousands of kids. I don't know who it is. And this voice said, where were we 20 years ago today? What do you mean, where were we 20 years ago today? I said, okay, I'll play. December 20th, 1997. Oh, 20 years ago, we were on the floor of Texas State. We played on December 20th, state championship. He said, yeah, Coach, this is Perry Haynes. Perry Haynes was my running back. State champion running back. All-state running back. He said, Coach, after every game, my junior and senior year, when I played on the varsity, you used to hug my neck and tell me you loved me. I said, yeah, I did that. He said, Coach, you know something? I never said it back. He said, in my family, we didn't say I love you. He said, we just didn't do that. He said, you know, I got out of college. He said, I married a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. He said, I'm a successful businessman in San Antonio. I got 2 twin daughters that are gorgeous. He said, I tell them I love them every day. That was a wonderful thing for me, for Perry to call me. True story, because a year and a half later, I got a phone call from Perry Haynes' mom. And she's in tears. She said, Coach, Perry got killed in a car accident last night between San Antonio and Austin. And then, I knew what was coming. And I get real emotional. I knew what she was fixing to happen. She said, Coach, could you speak at the funeral? You know, please don't ask me that. I speak at a lot of funerals for players, but not Perry. Don't ask me to speak. I spoke at the funeral. I did a hell of a job. Because that's what you do when you love kids, and they love you back. And that's what you need to strive for. You're at the University of North Texas right now, and you know, I must tell you, this campus bothers me. I got my bachelor's and my master's here. This campus bothers me when I drive across it in my truck because I see students with headphones on and with an iPhone walking across campus like this. Look at each other. Talk to each other. You're going to have to do that to be successful. If you go for that first job interview and that guy's interviewing you, and you're sitting there going, yeah, just a second. Okay. No! Leave the iPhone in your truck or car. Learn to communicate with people. I've got more plaques than you can imagine over 40 years of being in athletics. My office at the Collins Stadium, a whole wall that size, just plaque after plaque after plaque. Okay? But the day before I was going to retire, Mary, my custodian, I always got to the stadium about 6 in the morning. Mary, the custodian's cleaning the offices. Mary comes in my office about 6:30 and she said, Coach, what's maintenance doing here? I said, what do you mean, what's maintenance? She said, there's 17 maintenance trucks out here in the parking lot. Denton ISD maintenance department. I said, I don't know what they're doing here, you know. She said, well, they're all standing around out in the parking lot. I thought, did we have a pipe break or what's going on? Finally, the head of the maintenance department comes in my office. He said, Coach, can you come out in the parking lot a minute? And I'm going, yeah, sure. I walked out there, put my hat on, I walked out there, and these guys are all standing there. And, I mean, these are maintenance guys. These are rough dudes, okay? These are the guys that work hard in the school district. They're just cut and dry, good people, though. And this one guy steps forward. He's not real articulate or anything, but he's kind of the head of the group besides the maintenance director. He said, Coach, you know, every year that you've been the AD in Denton, the first of the year you come over to when we break for lunch, and you give us a cap that says Denton ISD Athletics, and you give us a card that says you appreciate us, and you put a $1 bill in there and you say, have a cap and a Coke on us. And he said, Coach, we bought you this pocket knife. It's a big old pocket knife with a bone handle and it has Coach Purcell carved in it. Woo! That's something. For 34 maintenance men. They don't owe me jack. They don't owe me anything. But all those plaques over there, that pocket knife is real important to me. It's how you treat people. You've got to learn to do that. And one of the ways you do it is to look them in the eye and say hello, just as you're going across campus. One of the reasons I sent my 2 sons to Texas A&M is because I had a number of players play there, and they would come back and say, Coach, I love it. Said one of the main things is we walk across campus. It's tradition. Every student says howdy to the other student. You say howdy. No big deal. But you'd say howdy. You acknowledge them as a person, and they acknowledge you back. And to me, that's very important. That's how you learn to touch lives. I told players in my football program, I'm going to teach you 4 things I want you to leave the program with. You know, you got one chance to make a first impression in life. You got one chance. The first time you meet somebody. And I said, I want you to give them a firm handshake. You know how to give a firm handshake? You ever shook somebody's hand? I call it a dead fish. It's kind of, you kind of just want to, God, there's got to be slime on that or something. Shake my hand. You give them a firm handshake. You make eye contact. You give them your name and a smile. Those 4 things. Hi, I'm Ken Purcell. Hi, I'm Ken Purcell. How are you? Now, my wife, it drives her crazy. She says, honey, it's like you're running for governor all the time when we go to a party. I don't care. I'm going to acknowledge them. I want them to tell me their name. But you got one shot at a first impression in life. You need to take that shot. You know, talking about kids don't care how much you know, and they don't care how much until they know how much you care. Dr. Baker was talking about, I became the athletic director in Allen years ago. And the first day I was there, I wanted to impress the teachers, and I sent a letter out. And it said we're going to have an athletic study hall. We're going to have progress reports the kids bring to you each week. If you have a discipline problem, we want to know because we want to help you with it, and so on. Well, that afternoon, after they went out, I went to the front office to get my mail out of the mail slots, the teachers' mail slots. There's one of my memos. Whoa. I go, that's kind of strange. Then I look down here at the bottom, and it's got red ink. It's been graded, you know. And I said, I appreciate, the last sentence I put on the memo to the teachers was, I appreciate your time and patience with our athletes. Problem was, patience was like patience in a hospital. Duh, you know. So I go to the high school principal, his office is just right there, I take it in and I say, Mr. Cook, who would do this? He chuckled and he said, that's Mrs. Green. He said, I swear that's Mrs. Green. She's the head of the English department. She does that to everybody. I said, okay. what room is she in? He said, she teaches in 103. I said, thank you. He said, whoa, coach. Don't be messing up. I said, don't worry, I'm not going to mess up. He didn't know me yet. So I go to Mrs. Green's room, and it's got a glass window there in the door. And I knock on the door, and I see Mrs. Green. She's teaching her class. And she looks and sees it's me, and she goes back to teaching. Well, I'm going to knock on the door again, So finally, I'm sure in her mind, she said, this idiot coach, I'm going to have to talk to him or I'm not going to get to teach. She comes to the door and she eases the door open. I said, Miss Green, did you correct my memo to you? And she kind of sheepishly said, well, yes. I said, whoa, no. I want to tell you how much I appreciate it. I don't have a secretary. They haven't given me a secretary as the athletic director. I'm going to fight for one, but they haven't given me one. I said, before I send out memos from now on, would you look at them for me? She said, I would love to. She never missed a game in my 13 years as the head coach of the Allen Eagles. She never missed a game. She became one of my biggest fans because I didn't mind saying, I need your help. Another choice was, hey, lady, who are you? I'm the head football coach. You don't be grading my stuff, fool. Nah, that's stupid. That's stupid. You need other people. You need other people in your life. Talk about a first impression. I talk about, one thing I like to talk about is kids don't love the sport like we do. Basketball may be your passion, but you may have someone on your team, it's not his or her passion. They love basketball, but it's not their passion. I had a lady, Madeline Jackson. Madeline Jackson was my head volleyball coach at Denton High School. She was an All-American at the University of Oklahoma. She loved volleyball. She came to my office one morning at the administration building. She said, Coach, I know you like us to talk to you before we do something drastic. I said, well, yeah. What are you going to do drastic? She said, we got our last district game in Denison tonight. It's for the district championship on Friday. She said, I got 3 seniors. I want to kick them off the team. Whoa, yeah, let's talk. Sit down, let's talk. I said, what's going on, Madeline? She said, you won't believe, Coach. She said, tonight is homecoming here in Denton, and we're playing in Denison. She said, they want to go to the homecoming dance and all of that after the game. She said, can you believe that? We're playing for a district championship. I said, Madeline, you remember in the orientation I gave it the first of the year? And I said, kids don't love the sport like you do. They got boyfriends. They got corsages. They got the prom. It's like the prom, but it's a homecoming dance. She said, well, Coach, they shouldn't be that way. I said, Madeline, what they should or shouldn't be isn't up to you or me. It's the way they are. Kids don't love the sport. I said, Madeline, I love you and I love the way you have a passion for your sport. But not all kids have that passion that you have. So remember that. When you have a kid that, well, another example, we were playing the state quarterfinals at the Cotton Bowl. His name was Kenneth Wilson. He was my starting offensive center. Okay? We're fixing to play in the quarterfinals at the Cotton Bowl. We've done Saturday morning film session. We've just won the 3rd playoff game, fixed to play the 4th. Have a film session, have our stretching routine. I go in my office, kids are going home, and all of a sudden big old Kenneth appears in my door. He said, Coach, can I talk to you for a second? Sure, come on in, son. He sits down in the chair, and I say, what's up? He said, Coach, I can't be here Monday for workout. I said, oh my gosh, do you have a death in the family, or what? What's the problem? He said, Coach, my girlfriend is on the drill team. And the band and drill team have qualified for state in Austin on Monday, and they're marching at 1 o'clock in Austin. I said, Kenneth, we're playing in the quarterfinals in the Cotton Bowl. Monday's when we do all of our adjustments. Monday's when we put all of our game plan changes in. Big old Kenneth. I said, sit right there. I go out in the lobby, true story. I got a Coke. I went in and gave Kenneth a Coke and said, sit down, drink Coke, listen to Coach. He can't miss a workout. We're in the playoffs, okay? And he went, you know how long the routine is at the state marching band contest? 9 minutes. They hold you to 9 minutes. In fact, if you're a second late going off the field, they penalize the band. Okay? So Kenneth is going to miss a quarterfinal Monday workout for 9 minutes in Austin. I said, really, Kenneth? I said, all that time. And he nodded his head and he said, okay, coach. He said, but you know, she really wants me to go. What do you think Kenneth did on Monday? He went to Austin. I benched him for the first 2 quarters of the game. We got by without him. But I found out that young lady must have been providing him some kind of motivation that I couldn't match. No way. No how. You know, he was in love. Okay? He was in love. Kids don't love the sport the way that you do. You've got to constantly remind yourself of that. You know, another thing you've got to get straight in your mind is that you seldom exceed your own expectations. You need to have high expectations of yourself and what you want to accomplish. And having a passion for what you're wanting to do. And again, let me go back to passion for a second. Sometime this week, write down what makes you happy. When are you happiest during a week? What really makes you happy? And it's not a bar on the square down there. You're not sitting and saying, man, I'm happy now. You know, that doesn't count. What makes you happy? I'm serious. I'll go back to my ranch on the way home, and there's a herd of cattle. I can't help it. I go, they got 4 or 5 babies right now, calves. I love it. I'm going to watch the draft, the NFL draft. I love them. Those are my passions. You probably don't know what your passion is right now. Sometimes you're too young to know, but you better figure it out pretty quick. And it doesn't mean you start down one road and you have to continue down. I told you about my son Sean. He went pre-med. He coaches. But it's up to you to figure it out. Nobody's going to be able to tell you what your passion is. But I talk about expectations. Don't be afraid to fail. You know, take the shot. Don't be afraid to take the shot. Step out there and take the shot. You know, I tell a story playing for the district championship in girls basketball against a team in Fort Worth. It was actually the regional championship. And they had the ball on this end. The goal was up here. They have the ball. There's 8 seconds on the clock, and they got a 1-point lead. Okay? We're fixing to lose. A little girl named Sarah Johnson. Sarah Johnson swept in. She was a point guard. She swept in and stole the ball. And she's headed for the other end, down there. 8, 7, 6. Another Allen girl's going down this side. There's one defender in the middle. Sarah goes down. It's 3, 2. She makes a head fake, and then she lays it up with 1 second. What do you think happened? She missed that sucker. She missed it. And I'm in the stands, and I see her, and she's up against the wall crying. She said, game's over. We're not moving on to the state tournament. Game's over. I can't get down fast enough out of the stands to pick Sarah up. I said, get up, get up, get up, get up. You're a winner. Don't cry. She said, Coach, I missed the shot. I said, Sarah, you took the shot. I'm so proud of you for taking the shot. How many other players are going down the lane this way? 2, 1. I ain't shooting that sucker. I'm passing it to Jennifer. Let her take the shot. I ain't touching this thing. I ain't going to be the GOAT. God, I love that girl. Because she head faked and she said, I'm taking it to the hoop. I don't care if she missed it. She had guts enough to take it to the hoop. That's what you want to be. You want to be that type of individual in coaching or whatever your passion is. Don't be afraid to take the shot. It's so important that if I can convince you that. I also talk about no negative defers you. You see, it's not what happens to you in life, it's how you take it. It's not what happens to you, it's how you take it. You understand the difference? Alexander Graham Bell, does anybody know what he invented? What? The telephone. Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone. Did you know he wasn't trying to invent the telephone when he invented it? He was trying to invent a hearing aid for a deaf sister. He had a tragic situation. He was trying to take care of it, and he created the greatest invention in the history of the world, probably. So we, you know. But the point is, it's not what happens to you, it's how you take it. How do you handle adversity? You know, I talk about one of the new sayings in the NFL and in the sports world, the NBA or whatever, is next man up. Next man up. We got a torn Achilles tendon or we got whatever and he's out. We can go cry and scream or whatever. Next man up. I had a soccer coach here in Denton years ago that had the leading scorer in the state. She was a great player. And about the 5th district game, one night, on a Tuesday night, she tore her anterior cruciate. I see the Denton paper the next day, no, the Thursday paper, it was 2 days later. And they had interviewed my coach. And he said, yeah, we kind of didn't work out yesterday. The team didn't work out yesterday. We found out that Jennifer had a torn Achilles. Anterior cruciate. So I gave the girls the day off, and we're coming back today to work. I called him and said, Coach, can you come see me? He said, yeah, I'm off at 11. I said, come see me. He said, Coach, did I read you gave them off? The team took off because a girl tore her anterior cruciate? He said, yeah, Coach. They were devastated. No. Death is devastating. I can repair an anterior cruciate. I can repair it. Is the girl dead? No. What do you mean you took off? It's how you respond to bad situations. You respond as positive, reaction is negative. I can talk to you all morning here in this classroom and you can nod your head and all that. We can go get my GMC pickup and head for Wichita Falls. We can talk for an hour and I'll ask you where you're from and try to find out all about you. And I get to talking too much and I veer over in the ditch and we roll that truck. I've been there. I'll find out more about you in 10 seconds than I have in 2 hours talking. What do you do in times of stress? What do you do? How do you handle adversity? You know, I got to be honest, I love Cam Newton. I think he's a great athlete. I was so disappointed in his response after the Super Bowl. You know, when they fumbled, he rolled around on the ground over there on the sideline. I want to say, Cam, get your butt up. Stand up. You're the leader. You ought to be saying, we're okay, we'll get the ball back and go score. But you're over here on the ground. I'd love to sit down with him and say, Cam, we need some leadership techniques here. You're looking good on top, but the minute you get stub your toe, you fell apart. You can't do that if you want to be a leader. How do you handle adversity is very important. You know, one thing about coaching, if you don't get anything else this morning, you praise the performer and you criticize the performance. Praise the performer and criticize the performance. You say, what am I talking about? Say we just played the first half of a basketball game out here in the gym. We come back in here and you're my team, and we've had 6 technical fouls. First half, we're down by 20. Okay? My team's sitting in here, and I walk in the room, and I got a choice. What are you knuckleheads doing? You're a bunch of jerks. You're acting like a bunch of jerks. Oh, that made you feel better, didn't it? You know, I won you over right there. I'm criticizing you. You don't criticize the player. You criticize the deed, the performance. Guys, you're better than that. We're getting technical fouls. They're getting in your head. You're smarter than that. Don't let them get in your head. You're a great basketball team. You see the difference? I'm praising the performer and I'm criticizing the performance. And you never get the two confused. It's so important that you do that. You praise the performer. Bad things happen to good kids. And that's just the way it is. Talk about role modeling. You know, I've told my coaches, if you want to have a beer or whatever, go to Louisville or go wherever. You're grown men, but not in Denton. I don't want my athletes seeing you drink or whatever in Denton. We want to be a role model. You know, there's a saying, I'd rather watch a winner than hear one any day. Let your loving light show me the way. I'll turn out to be exactly like you are today. Let me slow that down. I'd rather watch a winner than hear one any day. Talk's cheap. Do you walk the walk or do you talk the talk? You know, I like people that, I don't care if they talk the talk as long as they can walk the walk. You know, it ain't bragging if you can do it. It ain't bragging if you can do it. So it's important that it says, I'd rather watch a winner than hear one any day. Let your loving light show me the way. In other words, example. Because I'll turn out to be exactly like you are today. That's so important that you make kids understand, I will be your role model. That's part of the job. I just do that. Years ago, I took my family snow skiing in Colorado. And one of my assistant coaches said, hey, coach, you want to borrow my radar detector? Okay? Put it on the mirror, the rearview mirror, and detects police officers shooting radar. Okay? I said, sure, coach. I'll be happy to. So we leave Allen. I got my wife in the driver's seat. We're in a Suburban. I got my two little boys in the back, Sean and Shannon. We get up toward Quanah. If anybody's ever traveled toward El Morello on 287, there's a highway patrolman about every 10 miles, it seems like. I mean, they are everywhere. And we're driving along. Teresa's asleep. My wife's asleep. Sean's asleep. Little Shannon, he's sitting with his chin on the back of the front seat. I'm right here. He's right here. He's about 8 years old. Okay? And all of a sudden, we come over a hill, and there's a highway patrolman. And that thing goes beep, 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 beep. Boy, I slow down, you know, take my hat off the dash, because that's kind of cowboy country. You put your hat on, kind of nod at him as you go by. Everything's cool. Then you punch it. Now back in. Here we go. Little Shannon, though, I kind of noticed. We went about 30 more miles. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, same routine. Put the hat on. How you doing? You know. But after the second time, little Shannon, I'm watching him in the rearview mirror. I can see him right here. His eyes are kind of like, he said, Dad, what is that thing? I said, well, it's a radar detector. If Dad's going too fast more than what he's supposed to be, it shows me that they're going to catch me, and it lets me slow down. Now realize, these are two little boys that have sat at a supper table and heard discipline, pride, poise, class, honesty, accountability, and so on. And this is an 8-year-old boy. And he blinked and he said, Dad, isn't that cheating? Isn't that cheating? So like a good dad, I thought, what did I say? So I thought for a second, I said, okay, lay down and go to sleep like your brother is. Lay down and don't worry about it. True story. We get to Quanah, Texas, pull up to the mobile station. My wife wakes up. I'm taking the radar detector down. I'm winding the cord that goes in the cigarette lighter thing. She said, what are you doing? And the little Shannon and Sean had gone into the restroom. I said, well, Shannon asked me if I wasn't cheating by using that. I'd rather watch a winner than hear one any day. Let your loving light show me the way. I'll turn out to be like you are today. I had to, you know, I'm telling my son to be honest. It's kind of like the guy that picked up his son, and kid got expelled from school for stealing other kids' pencils. You know, Dad picks him up, he's out for a half day. Dad picks him up, gets him in a car. He says, son, I can't believe you stole pencils. I'll bring you home from the office, you know. Okay. He's stealing from the office. The kid's going, wait a minute. You can steal from the office and bring them home, but I can't, you know, I'd rather watch a winner than hear. You know, I've talked to you about passion. I've talked to you about people skills, learning those things. But the final thing I want to talk to you about is the passion will provide you happiness. You need to be happy right now with who you are. you know, back to my youngest son, when he was in Ford Middle School in Allen, he used to walk over to the high school and lift weights when he was in the 8th grade. And he would come into my office and he said, Dad, someday I'll be so happy when I get over here to the high school and can play for you. I want to get here. He finally got to the high school. He was on the freshman team. He said, Dad, you don't coach the freshmen. Someday I'll be so happy when I get to the varsity and I can be coached by you. He got to the varsity, he had a great career. He went to A&M, lived with his brother. He used to call me and say, well, he said, I can't wait to get to A&M. Then by his 3rd year, he kept saying, Dad, I'll be so happy when I graduate and get a coaching job. Someday I'll be so happy. He got his first coaching job at Highland Park High School. He was fortunate enough to be the receiver coach, and they had a heck of a quarterback that plays for the Lions now, and they won a state title. He called me a week after state champion. He said, Dad, I'll be so happy when I get my own head job. I said, son, we need to have a talk. I said, you come down the toll road. I'll come on 380, and there's a Chili's there at the El Dorado exit. Let's have lunch there today. He said, okay. He sat down with me, we got to talk. I said, son, you keep living on someday I'll. Someday I'll be happy when this happens. Someday I'll be happy you right now. Someday I'll be happy when I get that degree. Someday I'll be happy when I get that first job. Then I'll be happy when I get a raise. What I'm here to tell you is you need to be happy at 9:50 this morning. I don't care. You can tell me, well, I got this test and this. I don't care. Be happy. Be happy you're alive. Be happy you're never going to get to that place. And I always close. There's a poem that I used for years. It's talking about someday I'll. What if you lived on this someday I'll where everything's perfect? It says, there is an island fantasy, a someday I'll you'll never see, where recession ends and inflation ceases, where your mortgage is paid and your pay increases, where your children are sweet and already grown, and the other countries can go it alone. Well, happiness cannot be bought. It can't be owned. It can't be sought. Happiness is where you are right now. Pushing a pencil or pulling a plow. It's staying in school. It's standing in line. It's facing the cold. It's being on time. You see, happiness is not the destination. That's life's most important revelation. You'll trudge through life going mile after mile, but you'll never set foot on that someday. You'll never get there. So you better be happy now. You better be happy with yourself. Seek your passion. Work hard. Be on time. Shake hands with people. Look at people when you go across campus. Say hello. You will stun them. You will stun them. I'm fixing to get that red GMC pickup. I'm going to go across campus because I have to go on the roads. Obviously, but in intersections, I promise it's going to happen. There's going to be a guy or girl. I pull up the intersection over here. They're going to have their headphones in. They're going to be, and they will never even look up or, I want them to get right in front of me, and I'm going to hit that horn just as loud as I can, because I want to say, get in the world. You're going to get your butt run over, number one. Somebody's not going to be looking as close as I am. But the other thing, if you let somebody go across, acknowledge them. Thank you. Appreciate it. Didn't run over my butt. Develop people skills. That's one of the biggest criticisms I have of universities today, is they let you get in a bubble and you live in that bubble all the time you're on campus. It's just you and the iPhone and those earplugs. I would challenge you this morning to get out of that bubble. I challenge you not to live on someday I'll. I challenge you to find your passion. I challenge you to pursue it. And you will be successful. I promise you, you will. I appreciate all your time. Thank you. Did I leave anything out?
No, you did good. We're going to give you an A today. Okay, 2 or 3 things. Number one is, he doesn't have to do this. He does it because, again, it's a passion. Coach, this is gonna be a good day for you, just having heard what he's had to say. It's like a pep rally every day. This young man has paid his dues, he doesn't have to do this. I want you to look at his t-shirt that he's got on there, it says Fox Southwest. Every Friday night during football season, if you turn on Fox Southwest, he's one of the analysts on there. He still has his finger in the pie. Coach, I hope what I'm fixing to say will be one of the greatest compliments you've ever had. And that is, about 8-10 years ago, North Texas called me and said, Emmett, would you mind finding somebody who would speak to student teachers at our orientation meeting? And I said, I have a person, I don't know what his schedule is, but if he's available, yes, I will. So I called Coach Ken, he said, I would love to do that. So he came over and spoke over in an auditorium over at Matthews Hall to approximately 300 student teachers. These are people who are fixing to go out and do student teaching for 14 weeks. And they wanted somebody to get them going. Now, the people who had been in my classes, the people who had played athletics, they caught on real fast what he was saying. But there were people in there who were going to be kindergarten teachers, there were people in there who were first grade teachers that sat there and they had to look around, what in the devil have they exposed us to? We've never been talked to this way before. We've never been told some of the things that he's saying. But I'm going to tell you what, when they got through and I heard them leave, they said, I wished I'd have had more people like that in my life. And that's what we have. That's what you have. As a coach, every day, you do make a difference, and don't let anybody tell you anything else. Ken, I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you so
it.
much. Talk to you again.
All right, y'all have a great day.
Coach, thank you for coming. We appreciate it. Okay, we got about 3 things, and then we're out of here. I'm fixing to hand you out a sheet here. It's just your cheat sheet. You can take and become familiar with it. When you come in for your final exam, you'll have this filled out. Pass those up. You'll have this filled out for being a home